Tonight is a very special night for Outside the House. That's because we have the biggest Big Brother All-Star of all time. She's actually not even a star, but a galaxy all her own. You may know her as the illustrious veteran host of Big Brother, but I know her as a mentor, former boss, and friend. Please give a very warm welcome to Julie Chen Moonves.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me. It is an honor. I mean, Bryce, I feel like you're another son adding to the sons I have at home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so nice, Julie. We are the ones not worthy. We are not worthy. We thank you so much. We steal just before we start, we steal all of your taglines, all of your send-offs, everything, including our name Outside the House is off of your send-off outside the Big Brother house. So you
Thank you.
Yes.
Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're outside the house talking about what's inside the house.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So let's start with tonight's eviction. You said tonight that you thought we saw Tyler get evicted. We just saw it. And you said tonight that you thought this was Tyler's year. Were you surprised that he was evicted?
I was and I wasn't. I was because the house kept flipping back and forth. And then if you saw last night's show, which I'm sure you all did, it was like that pivotal moment when he overplayed his hand. And then Enzo went, running back to Cody to say, hey, he tried to tell me this, that, and the other thing. And then Cody, who's kind of running the whole energy of the house and calling the shots, he was like, what? I was like, no. It's like once Tyler tried to play as like a quote unquote shady player, that doesn't work for him because that's not in his nature, I don't think. And then at one point there was some chatter, let's get rid of Christmas. I just was surprised based off of last week's, triple eviction. He won back-to-back competitions. I was like, this kid's going all the way. This is his year. I felt more like this is his time. Because when he lost to Casey 5-4, that was a real toss-up, right? Casey pulled it out the end, win after win after win. But obviously, a 5-4 jury, it could have gone either way. I thought, you know what? God is going to take care of Tyler this year. But, hey, I told Tyler during the commercial break, you won the biggest prize of all, love. You found Angela in the other house, so. Other Angela.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other Angela.
The other Angela.
Well, how do you think Tyler's eviction is going to impact the game moving forward?
Well, I cannot tell you who won HOH tonight because I really don't know.
Oh, bummer. No, just kidding.
Jurious. Yoga mat looks like terrible. This looks. My closet's open with some towels.
Julie, I just had to move my bike, so don't. You look great. I have a bike in mine.
Yes.
Usually.
I'm so impressed. It's a toss-up. How's it going to be? I don't know because it's all about winning competitions at this point and winning the right competitions at the right time. And if you look at the people who are left, Christmas can win those comps, and we know that Tyler is really good at them. I just think Nicole. She might sail her way to final 3 just because no one really has a target on her back. But should they? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm kind of thinking if I'm sitting with, if I have to make a decision and take Nicole or anyone else who's left in the game, I might take Nicole to final 2, especially if at that point she hasn't won any competitions. Because what jury of all-stars is going to give it to someone who, yes, survived to final 2, but hasn't won competitions and has won before? I just don't see that happening unless there's a lot of resentment toward whoever is in that other chair. So expect the unexpected. Who knows? What do you guys think?
I kind of, go ahead, Rachel. You played with some of these people. So what do you think?
Who do I think is going to make it to the end?
Yeah.
I agree with Julie because Nicole has her resume is at about a 0 right now. So she would be who I would want to be in the final 2 with. Because if you're really looking at it, I mean, Memphis and Enzo and Cody, they have beasted this competition. So I wouldn't want to be sitting next to a Cody or a Memphis or an Enzo. I would be wanting to sit next to a Nicole.
Right.
Yeah. But that's going to look really bad for anyone who picks someone other than if whoever's left now, out of everyone who's left now, for them to pick Nicole to take it to the end, that's going to be bad for them in terms of loyalty because no one in the house right now has like much of a bond with her connection unless in the remaining weeks we see like fierce loyalty and instant, soulmates as friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I tweeted out the other day, I think Enzo to me is in the final 2. He is covered on every single base. So I really think we're going to see an Enzo and a Cody or an Enzo and a Memphis in the final 2. I think.
Yeah.
Could be. Enzo's played a brilliant social game.
So good
for him. He's pleasant to be around. Yeah. I think you could be right. I think you're right.
Oh, Julie said I'm right. Yes.
Probably just tweaked your brilliant, opinion of what's happened. I never get it right.
I know. Well, I put my first tweet out was that I thought Keisha was going to win, and then she got evicted, and I was like, all right, let me change that real quick. I think Enzo's going to win. So it was my second pick, but yeah. We'll see.
I had Ian taking it all, but
Ian was a good guest. Ian could have sailed to the end.
Yeah.
Anyone really could have. You never know. Game. That's the beauty of Big Brother. There's no magic bullet to win or surefire, strategy. We've seen every strategy and no strategy win this game in the past.
That's true.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, there's been a lot. Big night.
Yeah, I'm typing. Sorry, Julie, I'm learning all of your tricks. I use all your tricks. If I had a paper in front of me, I'd be crossing out stuff. No, so a few weeks ago, Julie, during the live vote, you went off script and reacted to Danny voting to evict Kaser over Janelle, and you were all of us in that moment. And the moment went viral. And now it's this amazing GIF that we actually used to tweet out your appearance. But I wanted to know, even though Janelle still got evicted, what is something that you wish had gone differently this season?
It changes from week to week. Every week that someone I'm rooting for gets voted out, I'm like, why did Nicole Anthony? Why? Why did she let paranoia get the best of her? Why? And then of course Janelle. I mean, I just wanted to throw my television out. And then, you move on, and then Kaser, I'm like, why? I'm like a fair weather, cheerleader every week. And then I really, it was all about Davon. And I would say that has stayed with me. And the sad thing is that if you don't get to stay in the house long enough for people to really see all sides of you, sometimes you can start out as not quite a villain, but maybe not the most rootable person. But if you stay long enough, you can turn things around. I mean, I've said this before about Rachel Riley, the season that she won. I found myself with pom-poms at home, cheering her on. And I was not that person at the beginning of the season, so I don't know. I would never say, I wish something different happened because every week I'm sitting there glued, what? I like how it's so unpredictable. Although people felt like this year was predictable because one side of the house kept winning. I guess that would be the one thing I would have liked to have seen, Davon or Kevin or David, become HOH, really have some power where they had to get blood on their hands, put 2 people on the block, have people run around fearing them and doing the whole, hey, you know, can I come in your yeah, you got 5 minutes in the HOH room? Yeah, let's talk game, you know. It always made me laugh. They're like, I don't know, they never talk game with me. And it's like, okay, but if that same person who never talked game with you was sitting in HOH and they use that excuse on you, like, oh, I'm going to nominate, you know, Memphis because he never talked game with me. If Kevin ever became HOH or David, I mean, so yeah, I would have liked to see someone not in this dominant, you know, committee alliance get some power early on.
See, you guys, Julie is just like us, okay?
Yes.
She's, you know, I think that Big Brother is such a great game because you do ultimately, I think by the default, root for the underdog. And when we, you know, when you see an alliance, I think the committee alliance, to be fair, is one of the best alliances that has ever really been on Big Brother because they've gotten to the end. And I don't know if, I mean, I guess maybe the Bomb Squad, I don't know, but it's great. We try to root for the underdogs all the time too.
I feel like it's a level 6 type of situation, except at least all of them got to the end, but that's, you know, that's what level 6 did. We should have made it farther, but it reminds me of the level 6 gameplay for sure.
Well, Rachel, I actually just rewatched your interview with Julie tonight, and I could not believe, like, you were so mad. You were so upset. Like,
I know.
Could you feel redeemed now that you're sitting with Julie talking?
Yes, I'm a lot calmer. My head's in a better space. But speaking of this interviews, because I know that nothing comes close to the "What's Wrong with Angela" moment. But out of all of your exit interviews this season, which one has been the most memorable for you, and why?
I think Danny, because Danny she's so quick. Her brain works so fast, and she knows this game better than any of us, including me. You know, she's always like 3 steps ahead, strategizing. She's got this thing figured out, and her love and passion for the game is just, you know, you can feel it. And she handled it like a champ, you know. Well, we saw in jury package tonight, you know, she's like, I feel so betrayed. She's still upset. But I feel like at the end of the day, you know, her head is still in this game, and that's why she's feeling upset. And at the end of the day, she and Cody will be friends again. You know, that's a thing that I love about serious gamers. Like, they play so passionately and fiercely. And then afterwards, guess what? You know, like Rachel Riley and Reagan, they became like best friends afterwards. They were like, we're best friends now. Like, they were mortal enemies in the house. So I would say Danny. Danny really sticks out.
Yeah, I love Danny because she's just like I said, she's so passionate. She loves this game so much, and it just literally exudes out of her. Like, that's when I played Big Brother, like, that reminds me of how I wanted to play. Like, I wanted to play fierce and loyal, and I love how she plays.
I also love that upon, you know, them evicting her, they were like, what a legend, man. She was a legend, you know. I like that they gave her props when, you know, they didn't have to, and it, like, they were playing to her as a juror because, you know, they knew she couldn't hear them. So that was a nice moment, I thought. Yeah,
100%. You, the way that you interview them and how you build them up and you make them feel like a true all-star when they come out. I love that. It's so nice to see.
Thank you. Everyone should, you know.
Yeah.
Look, I know there are some house guests that people at home are just like not loving, but my thing is, walk a mile in their shoes in the Big Brother house. You never know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to walk in anyone's shoes, and you certainly don't know what it's like to be in that house, which is so mentally grueling, you know, just it's exhausting. That I want people to remember, like, even quote unquote villains from season to season or in life, we are all multifaceted. We all have a good side, a bad side, or many good sides, many bad sides. And you never know what environment you're put in and which sides are going to, you know, take over and take center stage. So don't judge. Don't judge. You know, let's remember the good about all the people, the good side, so that you can come out and maybe want to play again.
Yeah.
Regardless.
No, true. And
I love that.
Yeah, I think especially during this time, I mean, in this pandemic, it's really important to remember that. And Julie, I mean, obviously you know this but you have the best poker face in the business. But I love how like when you talk to the house guests pre-jury, you're able to be a lot more open. You're like, hey, here are the votes, XYZ, whatever. You tell them everything. But I'm wondering, like, now it starts to, especially with the interviews with the jury now, especially in the triple eviction, we saw, what is your strategy kind of when you talk to them? I mean, what do you want them to leave with? How much information are you really towing a line there? What kind of goes through your head when you're interviewing them?
Fear. I don't want to get in trouble. I do not want to get in trouble with the showrunners. I don't want to get in trouble with the internet, with family members of people who are still in the house or already out. I don't want to taint the jury, and also just fear of having like egg on my face. Like I just have to, not. I want the game to be pure, so it's a lot of fear. It's like, oh, they told me in the meeting yesterday, no, you can't say that, Julie, because then I'm like, oh yeah, that would be kind of revealing something they wouldn't know, wouldn't it? So fear works a lot of times.
That's a great answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
It really is. There's been a lot of changes over the years. It's, had different twists, different games, different competitions, but there's been one thing that has remained constant over the entire 20-year run of the show, and it's you as the host, Julie. So what really keeps you coming back to host? Like, why do you love this game so much? Why do you love this show so much?
I love it because it's not just a game. It's about relationships. It's about human nature. It's and this season, it's about so much more than the game, but those important, deep conversations we have shown, talking about Black Lives Matter, talking about, autism. And I wish, and I hope we do more of that in future seasons. But even prior to this season, you got to see, and last night's show, when you got to see Tyler and Memphis talking about losing their dads, it was like such a, and I think people need to see that about Memphis, because I don't like to read the internet because it just becomes like a cesspool of bullies who just attack for whatever reason. And I always feel like whoever you're attacking, it's really not about that person. It's about something happening, in your world that, and I pray for you. I pray for you that, you wouldn't be lashing out that way if whatever is happening in your own world and life was good. So that being said, what was your original question?
Why keep bringing you back?
What keeps you coming back?
I like the real moments, and Big Brother is real because I mean, look at the feeds. You can look at the feeds. There's no other reality shows have been accused of, that was kind of planned, where, this one pulled that one's hair or whatever. Our cameras are on 24/7. There are no camera operators inside the house saying, oh, I missed that shot. Could you do it again? So I feel like it's the truest form of reality, especially with the house guests not being able to see, a camera operator to remind them. Sure, they hear the zooming of the camera, but I think we're getting quieter cameras. I think that technology might be out there.
Nice.
And it's just raw, real moments where you get to know these house guests, and they have all different sides that we all have in us. I always learn something about myself. I'm always like, oh, there I am going, I can't believe he or she did that. And I'm like, oh, I think I've done that before. Maybe I should stop doing that. That's what keeps it coming back. The real life stories of relationships and personalities, and what would you do if you had to choose between $500,000 and your word, or friendship, or potentially your future spouse. I like seeing how the mind works and how people behave, the human behavior of it all.
That's so true. I think that, you know, I mean, there's been a lot of firsts in Big Brother, and I think there's a lot more to come. You know, I mean, just as a suggestion, maybe we do say like, I don't know, a former assistant twist that someone goes into the house who maybe worked for Julie, and then I'm just gonna maybe we act as a saboteur.
You know, you are automatically not allowed.
I know.
So
never can go in the house.
Sorry.
Julie, Julie, we touched on a little bit earlier. I told you who I thought might be winning, but who do you think is going to win the entire season?
All right, let me look at my cheat sheet here. I think Cody, because I'm looking at, okay, I have Cody.
That was my guess. That was my pick, Julie, from the beginning. I have a pick Cody.
He's well, he wasn't my pick in the beginning, but he's definitely my pick now because he's poised to win. He's good at competitions. He's dictating a lot in the house. It's just a matter if he can win the right competitions in the right sequence to go to the end. Because let's see, Enzo would take him to the final two. Nicole says she would. Would she? Why wouldn't she? Right?
That would be amazing if she didn't. After all the times he saved her.
Okay, so she probably would too, right? Let's think. Christmas wouldn't, though. Christmas would probably take Memphis, right? Am I right at this point?
I think so, because they have a final two.
Or Nicole, because she could say that Nicole could play the winner card again. No one's going to vote for me because I'm a winner, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so she wouldn't take Cody if she had a chance.
Yes,
especially if she nominated her this week, but you never know. A lot could change. I think odds on favorite is Cody. Yeah. Looking at Memphis, yeah, you never know. Memphis, he took. Do we think Memphis would? Who do we think Memphis would take?
He said I think he'll take Enzo. I think he's going to take Enzo because he made that final three. But he said on the show, one of the episodes, he said, "I think I can beat Enzo at the end." So I think he wants to take Enzo.
I'm going to show you my cheat sheet.
That's crazy though, because if Enzo should take Christmas, Oh yes, the face sheets, yes,
the nice face sheet.
But what looks different about this? You can tell them what I normally do to help keep me honest.
Julie usually crosses them off after they're evicted.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I usually just do an X so I can see like quickly who's left. But I really like the X looks so mean.
You need like a smiley face or something.
Yeah.
Have like a smiley face sticker.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yes.
I can't turn it off, Julie. I can't turn it off.
Come back.
Yeah. I can't. It's like old habits die hard, you know? Well, Julie, before we let you go, we have to ask about your Sunday sermon messages and all the incredibly uplifting messages throughout the week. You and your sister in Christ, Anita Body, there we go, have started an Instagram called @FaithFamilyDJ. So tell us real quick what inspired you to do this.
Ooh, okay. So we're all in quarantine. And let me back up a little bit. So January 28th, my father at age, let's see, he's been 89 this year. At age 88, he passes away unexpectedly, not COVID related. Unfortunately, he fell and he hit his head.
Julie, my grandfather had the same thing happen to my grandfather. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah,
he was 89.
Oh, you're kidding.
Not kidding.
Oh,
I'm so sorry, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. So that happens. And then March 1st, we have a big, beautiful memorial in my home for my dad. You know, he had a lot of siblings. I have so many cousins. And it's right before quarantine. I remember my aunt was like, don't shake hands, don't hug. Let's just like knock feet, you know. And my mom decides right after the memorial, you know, she's going to stay at my house with me for a couple of weeks to test out, does she want to go back to their home and live alone as a widow, or does she maybe want to move in with me? Well, the 2-week trial turned into 4 months. So during that time, we really leaned on each other and leaned into God in the wake of losing my dad. And we started Bible study together. We started to do all these Bible readings, but we felt a little bit lost. Luckily for the aunt, who was like, let's not shake hands and just like touch feet.
Yes.
She is a devout Christian, and so is her husband, my uncle. That uncle, by the way, is a 9/11 survivor. He was one of the two.
Oh my gosh!
Wow!
And he survived the 1993 attack on the World Trade Center as well, and he's a cancer survivor. So they help us with Bible and all this, and then George Floyd happens, and I'm watching this country just come undone, and I'm watching all the injustices and all the protests, and I can't sit at home and not do something to try and promote peace and unity and calm and respect and civility. And I thought, if we all, you know, I've seen some people say, I'm Christian, but then the behavior is not Christian. I'm pretty sure Jesus Christ would not say, yeah, go interrupt a protest with an AR-15 or just, don't get me started. So my friend Danita Body, so at Faith Family DJ, D is for Danita, J is for Julie. Actually, J is for Jesus, always for Jesus. Her husband, Pastor Lee Body, is the pastor of a church in Boston, and they invited me to a Sunday live church Zoom. So I get up early on Sunday mornings and I join them, and I learn the Word of God. And I was so impressed the first time I joined them in August. They always start with prayer, and this is a predominantly Black church. And when they opened in prayer, they said, and remember, this is August, okay? They say, we pray for our President Donald Trump. We pray for wisdom for all our leaders. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful prayer. No matter where you stand politically or socially, to pray for people in position of power who make decisions that affect all our lives, to pray for that person to have wisdom. I'm like, I'm coming back every Sunday to this Zoom church, and I'm going to do anything I can to promote the Word of God, to promote peace, love, faith, unity, hope, all that, all the above, everything good. We have
what an incredible story. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
You've inspired me. I went down a rabbit hole today. I was in your Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love all of these messages, and everything that you're doing is just,
they're so uplifting, aren't they, Rachel? I mean, like, it's so, every day I look forward to tying the messages back. It really does. I mean, I feel like it really helps uplift my day, especially if you're not having such a great day. So, Julie, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for coming on here tonight. You have no idea how much this is going to impact our little show. And not only that, but from a personal standpoint, thank you for everything you've done for me. You are such a very special lady, and I am so honored to know you and everything else. So in true Julie fashion, we will say goodbye. From outside the Big Brother house, this has been Outside the House. And remember, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. That one's for you, Julie. Thank you so much. Good night.